All right, guys, we are on week 3, the breakfast category over here. So for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you are going to choose 1 or 2 assignments or projects from each category. If you're tight on time or you have a ton of work for other classes, just pick one. If you're really interested in climate change, you're really bored, or you don't have that much work, I would recommend doing 2. For this week, the shortest, easiest assignment is the ways to decrease your carbon footprint. If you want more of a challenge, or you have a lot of extra time, or you need graphical analysis practice, the other 3 are going to be your best bet. So I'm going to switch over to Teams, and I'm using my Boxer to Boxer account here. So if you go to Assignments, click Week 3 Assignments, you'll see a page that looks like this. Note the Turn In button up at the top. We will get back to that in just a moment. So again, you're going to be choosing 1 or 2 assignments for the week. You should have already done the check-in survey and the pop quiz by this time. If you have not, go back and do that. So with that being said, these assignments that I'm going to be posting in the assignments category need to be submitted through Teams, not email. It is so much easier for me to see what's going on with everybody if you're submitting it through Teams. If you send it to me through email, it could get lost in all of the other hundreds of emails I get in the week. And I might accidentally forget to give you credit for an assignment because it's not turned in where it should be. For people that are having issues accessing Word online or Teams online, you can send it to me through email, and we have already spoken, but everybody else should be submitting through Teams, okay? And I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. I did walk you through how to do this last week in the last video, but it didn't really seem like very many of you watched that because I got a ton submitted through email. So first assignment I'm going to show you is the Reduce Your Carbon Footprint. I'm assuming most of you are going to be doing this one since I already mentioned it's easier and a lot quicker. So as soon as you click the document, you are going to see a page that looks like this. Going to go up to where it says Edit Document. Click that. If you are having issues accessing Word online, click Edit in Desktop App. It's going to do the exact same thing. You just have to manually save everything and send it back to me. If everything's working fine for you, click Edit in Browser. And you will see a page that looks like this. All right, so reduce your carbon footprint. Last week we calculated our carbon footprint. This week we are going to look into green alternatives to current items, electronics, etc. So there are 3 steps here, 1, 2, and 3. Step 1, you need to find an affordable alternative to an everyday item. This could be toothpaste, makeup, deodorant, soap, hair products, charging devices, batteries, light bulbs, you name it, it's out there. There's so many different things out there that you wouldn't know about unless you started researching. Like for my example, I recently found a skincare line that I can finally afford. It is a little bit more on the pricey side, but it uses organic or sustainably sourced ingredients, meaning they're not overly used, so the ground and the plants itself aren't going to be stressed. And it's ethically sourced as well, so there's no chemicals being used whatsoever. Everything comes shipped in glass bottles, not plastic, because we know plastic is no bueno. And it has a carbon neutral shipping process, meaning that any sort of carbon it produces while it is being shipped is offset by the company planting trees either nearby or in the Amazon rainforest. So just the ethics of this company and the fact that there's no chemicals whatsoever It's easily recyclable and it's not going to have any negative impacts on the environment is something that I really, really love about this. And this is something I'm going to be continuing to use. There are more affordable options, but most of the time these alternatives tend to be a little bit more on the pricey side, which is a whole different discussion in of itself. Anyways, so each of the 3 requirements up here, your everyday item, family, or country or world, you need to include the name, website, description, why you're recommending that we look into this, is it possible to truly switch to this alternative, make sure you include the why or why not, and an overall review of the product or technology. And then finally, you are going to return this to me by email if you're working on desktop and you cannot work online, or through Teams, which I am going to show you very shortly. So the next page is where you're going to be typing, and this is from when I tested that out before. But just put your name up here. You don't really need to include the date or period. So for me, my affordable item is called Bamboo Earth. So I just type that in there. I would copy and paste the website. You can copy and paste the description if you would like. I would recommend trying to put it in your own words. Then why you recommend this, can you switch this alternative, and the product review. So to save and send this back to me, if you look up here, it says saved. If you start typing, you notice it says saving. As soon as it says saved, then you are good. You click close, and it is saved currently. However, this is still not turned in unless you click the turn in button up here. So you click turn in. It is time-stamped, and this turn in button turns into an undo turn in. As long as you see this, regardless of what may pop up for you, I know some of you guys have said that even though you're turning in assignments, it's still saying that you did not. As long as you see this right here, it was turned in and I can see it. Okay. I'm going to temporarily undo this for a second and just show you the other options. So I'll do, why does this say working on unlocking? We'll try this. In case you haven't noticed, I'm not that great with technology either. I am learning along with you. Very ill-prepared. But anyways, so your other assignments are going to be more of a graph-heavy focus. Again, if you need to use the desktop version, click the first option or edit in browser. I'm going to assume that most are probably not going to do these options, but if you are, these are available for you. So these all have graphs, every single one of these, with some questions. Most of these have a link to some more information. So there's a little blurb underneath talking about the graph. If you hover over the link, it says Control plus click to follow the link. So I'm going to push the Control button and click, and I see that popping up here. So this is going to give a little bit more information. This is the graph that was just on that page. There's a few more graphs, some more information. I believe most of these graphs are actually in this document. But you are going to answer these questions based off of the graph and the reading. So how much did it cost per kilowatt hour to produce electricity using wind power in 1980? So looking at our graph, over here, this is the cost. The C is for cents. Kilowatt hour, kWh. On this side, I'm assuming this is gigawatt. I did not read. Yep, gigawatt. And then across the bottom looks like the year. So the question was, how much did it cost per kilowatt hour to produce electricity using wind power in 1980? So in 1980, we're looking for wind cost, which is in blue. In 1980, the lowest wind cost was about 60 cents. I'm gonna guesstimate about 60. If you want to do the top of this blue line, I would say about 62, 63 maybe. The yellow is, I'd say 59 cents, but we will just guesstimate, we'll say about 60 cents. Okay. And you're going to go through, some of these are a little bit easier, some of them are a little bit more difficult. Like some of these just ask you the title of the graph. So you look up here, wind power capacity and additions, top 10 countries 2015. Type that right here. Okay, some of it's a little bit more of looking into the data and what it means. Some of it's just, can you read a graph? One thing I do want to note, unfortunately, I have not figured out how to edit some options in here. So if you see, I think maybe down here, nope, that one you can. There's some where you have to type in a box and you can't actually type in it. It's just a picture. Don't worry about doing these. All right, so if there's a space anywhere where you can't actually type in there at all, don't worry about doing that. Just do the ones where you can type. Like these you can't type in. Some of these have nice little like pretty boxes that you're supposed to fill out, but you can't actually fill in on here. This is actually more meant for a like an in-school paper assignment. So we're working with what we have here, but just fill in the stuff that you can actually type in. And same as always, if it says saved, click close. Once you are satisfied, turn in and you are all set. Okay. If you guys have any questions, please email me. I'm working on possibly doing a Zoom. There's a few issues again with that, but we will discuss that at a later date. But if there's anything that comes up that's not answered in this video, please let me know. If it's something you think I should address to everybody else, again, let me know. And hope you guys have a great rest of your week. See ya.